So if you've been following me for a little while, you know that I like unique pieces that tell a story. And when I say unique pieces, in this context, I'm referring to Frankensteins. What's a Frankenstein? Well, to me, a Frankenstein is a piece of gear that's gone through some kind of major overhaul. Now, I say major, and they're not always a major overhaul, but something that has changed the overall look of the piece of gear, whether it's a blocker, catcher, pads, could be anything. It's cosmetic, but it can also be internal. Someone has gone to great lengths to modify, to improve, to correct, to extend the life of. Right over my right shoulder, you can see this Vaughn glove, which is not factories. That blue cuff that runs all the way up the thumb, that was given to me by my friend Stu. So that was a Frankenstein. Someone went through the trouble to update that cuff, and they even went to the trouble to re-sew the patch back onto the cuff. So that's an example right over my shoulder of a Frankenstein. The original of that glove is this one right here. That's the original. That's the modification. So a Frankenstein, again, is a modification that really changes the overall look of the piece. I'll give you another example. For those Chris Osgood fans out there, if you remember him with the Red Wings, his iTech profile pads, he added a thigh rise, a custom thigh rise, or at least increased the height of the thigh rise. It's a modification that changed the overall look. Well, I have with me a Daniel Roland glove, more commonly known as DNR. DNR has been around since the 30s. They may even go back to the late 20s. They've made player gloves. They made baseball gloves. They've been around for coming up to 100 years now, long time. I wore DNR. Most of the gear I had early on was DNR. The pros wore them. Grant Fuhr, his iconic set with the Oilers. DNR, there's the DNR lasers, the pads, you've probably heard of those. So they've been around a long time. They've made their mark absolutely in the goalie equipment manufacturing place in history. They've made their mark. So this glove, I found it on Facebook Marketplace, and you'll see I'm covering up the cuff with my flag because I'm going to do a little unveil, okay? This is cool. I would say of all the Frankensteins I've seen, like this one over my shoulder by Vaughn, that's really well done, really cool. But this one has sort of that step above, that next level modification that is just so great. I think it's great. You may not appreciate it, but I think it's pretty interesting. So here we go. Do an unveil. Ready? The back, the glove, the pocket. Let me raise it up. See that? That's right. That is denim. That is, from what I can tell, the bottom part of a pant leg cut out of denim. Wicked. Like, I absolutely love this. Somebody at some point wanted to extend the life of this piece, and all they had with them was denim. And it's great. I asked the owner a bit more on the story. I was looking for more of the story. Unfortunately, they didn't have the backstory. That's okay. We can use our imagination, but this glove is wicked. I think that's interesting. It's done really well too. Like, it's sewn on really clean. A few other things I want to share with you about the glove. So it's been sitting a long time. I can tell, you know that dry rot type of action that starts to go on with nylon and some leathers. It literally dries out. And that's what's happened to this piece. It's also very flat. It looks like something heavy's been sitting on it for a long time. The thumb, everything is very, very condensed. I can't even get my thumb inside of it. I've never seen this particular type of glove from DNR. This is the S6. There was an S4, and from what I can tell, the research I did, there was an S Pro. So I think this is part of that family, S4, S6, S Pro. If I'm wrong, chime in. I always like your comments. Let me know. But this original colorway was white, blue, and red. You know what? The first thing I do when I get pieces like this is I compare it to other pieces I have, because I've never seen a glove like this. I mean, I've seen them online, but I've never had one in person. So the first thing I did is I looked at the Cooper GM21. Very, very similar. The biggest difference with this, it has a longer T. The T comes down quite a ways. But it reminds me of the GM21 glove. And the logo, so DNR, we all know it there. There's their famous logo. I used to think, and I'm probably wrong, that within the script, where it drops down to turn into the R, I always thought that was intentional to be the N, the DNR, the DNR. There was a little N right there. I could be wrong. I probably am. Because I looked back at a very early player glove, which I'll post, where it's a much sharper line that matches up with what looks like a lightning bolt underneath. So this logo has evolved over the years. Anyway, below here, it said, no, over here, it was S6. And from what I could tell online, there was an additional mark that said double flex, from what I could tell. So that's missing the lacing on this. I don't know if that's original lacing, but one thing is for sure, it's so dry that it's extremely, extremely hard. It almost feels like a wire, like it's extremely rigid. I'm assuming that's stock because it's everywhere. It's throughout the glove, unless they redid the whole thing. I don't know. What else can I say about it? Oh, the shape of the cuff. So I found another one online that had a very flat cuff. This has quite a curve to it, which doesn't look like the one that I found, which appears to be stock. So I don't know if this is an additional Frankenstein mock-up, but I don't want to take this off to find out. I want to leave it just the way it is. I'm going to hang it up with the rest of these great pieces. As I say all the time, it's about the story. I don't know the story, but the person that had this took the time and the effort to extend the life of it. Or maybe they were just a huge denim fan and they wanted to bring some jean into their glove. I don't know. But it's cool. It's just super cool. I'm super excited to have it. I even love that little cheater. I love that. Great. Anyway, great piece. Gonna hang it up with the rest of the gloves up here. If you have something like this out there too, if you find these pieces, share it. Love to learn about them. I can't get enough of it. I don't know if people do this anymore today, to be honest with you. Do goalies still today modify their gear to extend the life of it? I know when I was a kid, my parents couldn't afford much. When it came to any kind of, whether it was boots, shoes, whatever we had, they'd fix them, they'd sew them, they'd add things, they'd take things away, whatever they needed to do to extend the life. Because this stuff's expensive. So maybe that's true here. If you have any questions, comments, I'm gonna throw up a whole bunch of pictures. I'll take a bunch of pictures and I'll post them so you can get a good look at this gem. Have a good day.